welcome. I want you to indulge me for a moment. Take a moment, and I want you to ask yourself, why are you here? Okay, so for each of you, you will have your own reasons and your own motivations. And I suspect that it'll be along the lines of, I want to be better. I want to be a better communicator, and I want to be a better leader. So my second question is, if you've been coming to PMUT for a while, the second question is it working? And if you're new to PMUT, then I want you to ask the question, how will I know if this will work? Okay. I think these are all good questions to reflect on. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow PMUT members and guests. Tonight, I want to share my own answers to these questions. So, for context, Toastmasters, when you join Toastmasters, you get put on a pathway in your projects. And I recently completed level 5 at the end of last year. And just when I thought I was actually done, they said, go reflect on your growth. So, okay, here are my reflection questions. What have I accomplished in Toastmasters? What have I accomplished outside of Toastmasters? What did I learn and what's next? So indulge me here. I joined Toastmasters in March 2019. And I remember my first meeting. I worked downtown and I walked over to City Hall and found the meeting room, got in there, and I sat in one of those chairs at the back and I was observing the club meeting. It was very friendly. There were a lot of people and I loved the concept. So it intertwined project management and it intertwined Toastmasters. So I loved that. And I knew at that moment that I found my club. So I remember Jane, who was VP of membership, and I remember Lionel, who was the treasurer, and I signed up. I e-transferred money over. And just a side note, you know how when you transfer you e-transfer money, there's a security like question and answer. My question was, what is the color of my hair? Because see this hair, this was not the color of my hair. Like that was the color of my hair. But okay, I'm digressing. Let's go back. In 2019, I took time in that year to explore all the different roles. These are all the roles that I did. And I completed a bunch of speeches. So I completed level 1 by the end of 2019. The next year, I continued to get into the roles, hone my skills there. And I took on the beefier ones of general evaluator, Toastmasters, and I continued my speeches. So I completed level 3. And I took on some leadership with the club. And I became involved in membership. And we set up the first membership committee with Andy, Melina, and Michelle. So that was good. It was my first foray. Fast forward last year, I didn't do as many roles. I was busy, but I stepped out of my comfort zone and I delivered my first PM forum. So after doing that, I took it and I delivered it at PMI Lakeshore. So again, you can see the growth there. I moved on to a different club role and we formed the PR committee with Idris, Nages, Lan, Christine, Hammer, Megan. Just love the involvement that the club has and the community that it has as well. So this year, I was very honored I didn't do any roles, I was very busy, but I was very honored to represent the club at the speech contest. So really grateful for the opportunity firstly, but PMUT is so gracious in its connections. I had a chance to work with Roger Caesar, who's like the 3rd world champion in the world, and he helped me on my speech. And that's again something that really, I'm just really grateful for the club that it had that. So this is what I've done. And in summary, I do feel like I've accomplished quite a lot on my journey in Toastmasters. So what have I done outside of Toastmasters? It's the second question. So I'm going to go back to 2019. And the reality is, outside of Toastmaster, my whole life revolves around work. I mean, it shouldn't, but it does. So I'm going to focus on work. In 2019, I'll call it middle management. And I had this problem. I was good at my job. I knew what I was doing, but I wasn't able to communicate it to my executives. I couldn't explain or articulate the challenges that we had. I couldn't put it in a way that meant anything to them. They couldn't understand what options I was trying to present or my recommendations. They just didn't see that. And I was very afraid to speak up in a meeting where all the managers are there, all the VPs and CEOs and all of that are there. Like, I was afraid to speak up. That was another problem. And I didn't hold other people accountable. I mean, I knew I was good at my job. Other people weren't necessarily good at their job, but I couldn't find the words to hold them to account. And there was essentially no leadership presence there, right? So those were all my problems, which is why I joined Toastmasters. And so then 2020 came and the pandemic happened. So in some sense, the pandemic was a problem, but the pandemic was also, I don't know, maybe a blessing in disguise, because we furloughed so many people. We were down to a skeletal staff. We all took pay cuts. So the people that were left were really in it for the long haul. And I guess at some point, somebody saw that. I mean, I had been working on myself with Toastmaster for the last 2 years, and they saw it. So in 2021, I got a promotion. I became a senior management layer, and I continue to develop my communication skills and my leadership skills here. And so when I look at this and I come to this year, I am now what you call a work in progress senior management. So I feel accomplished outside of work as well. So I want to talk about, what did I learn? I learned to build new habits. And I guess I want to talk about this because it's not about learning new things. It's about unlearning. I had to unlearn not to speak up. I wasn't being heard. So I had to learn how to be heard and unlearn how to be not heard. And I guess that leads me to essentially this space. You know, I really appreciate the tagline, where leaders find their voice, because I feel my journey here has allowed me to find my voice where I wasn't heard before. I'm heard now. And I mean, that is something that I feel this club has given me. So thank you very much.